All right, hey everybody, it's Corbin,
Jacob.
and we're here to review some shit. We actually are just driving out of the parking lot for seeing X-Men Apocalypse. We figured we would start with this one considering it's opening weekend. So, Jacob, give us a quick little briefing rundown of what Apocalypse is.
Well, X-Men Apocalypse. It kind of says it in the title. Apocalypse is the main bad guy, and he is definitely the bad guy in the X-Men world. I think a lot of X-Men fans have been waiting for him to be in the cinematic universe.
And I guess, let's just start it off. Do you think he did justice to what all the fans were expecting?
Yes and no. He definitely had the power. They conveyed the power big time.
Good Lord, did they ever.
Until, of course, the end, where he kind of seemed to get wiped out pretty quickly.
But I thought, and I guess, by the way, we're going to spoil the hell out of things.
Spoilers.
If you, want to see it or anything, if you're anything like me, you don't really care about spoilers because it's more about the viewing pleasure of going to the theater and seeing it. But you know what? I was thinking about it at the end, though, too. It's like, okay, he may have gotten wiped out pretty easy, but, he was using his physical powers against Magneto, Cyclops, Storm, and he was using his, Beast, too. I mean, he kind of shooed Beast away pretty quick, like a fly, which, the character would. But then he was also using his mind to fight against Charles Xavier and Jean Grey. So, I mean, he was tackling 5-6 dudes at the same time and holding his own.
Yeah.
So,
true.
I was sitting there thinking about it, be like, I guess he's, he's pretty tough, including, some of his horsemen, coming back.
Yeah.
And fighting him, too. So, but I guess kind of the big, the big main thing that everybody asked as soon as it was put out there, the first couple of pictures, that were released on Entertainment Weekly of Apocalypse looking like Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
What did you think of the way Apocalypse looked?
I liked it. I think they cleaned it up well, especially in the face and everything. He really looked like Apocalypse.
The beginning, those first pictures when they came out, he didn't have the lines because he had the very distinctive, defined lines in his face.
Yeah. And
I was missing that too. Apocalypse has always been one of my favorite baddies. Mm-hmm. So, I was kind of missing that too, but I really like the way that they did it. I don't know, maybe, my little picky bits, but I was a little disappointed when they got in those real close shots to his face because you could see, kind of like the painted makeup, and then up on his head it was like shiny.
Yeah.
Like super shiny. Like you could see that real drastic contrast. But it was only when they got up there really, really close.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I love the suit. I thought that looked great. I love the tubes going up to the head.
Yep.
That was like just weird and creepy. That almost seemed like a little Guillermo del Toro-esque sort of a thing. Now, how do you feel that Oscar Isaacs did, the guy that played Apocalypse?
I think he did a really good job. He really conveyed that godlike, power through his voice.
Right? I loved what they did with his voice too.
Yeah.
Because when he got into those real monologuing,
intimate
sort
moments,
of things, they did that, that little alteration, little change in his voice, little synthesize, which I thought that conveyed it really, really well. And two, for a guy like Oscar Isaacs, who really hasn't played kind of really a big
central role
like that before. I mean, he had Ex Machina and, most noticeably Star Wars. But
which even then, he was still kind of off to the side.
Exactly. Yeah, he wasn't really, kind of that big. But I feel now, after watching this movie, not because of this performance, but I feel that Oscar Isaac has an Oscar in his future.
Yeah.
I think the dude, he could definitely do it. I like the quiet, bitter internal strength. He knew he was strong.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to convey to anybody else.
Right, yeah, it was a real quiet strongness he conveyed.
Yeah, and he didn't, and everybody else around him were just like, who was this guy? Although, well, no, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the morality of it. But I mean, for me, the top 3 actors for this movie, I thought that Fassbender, fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of his best Magneto performances. Then next, I thought Evan Peters.
Oh yeah.
Quicksilver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, played
Yeah, like I
Quicksilver,
said
reprising
already,
his role as Quicksilver
Almost
from
stole the show again.
Days
almost.
of Future Past. And then third, for me, I thought that. What am I talking about? I forgot his name all of a sudden. So we've got.
McAvoy?
No.
No?
Surprisingly, no. Because I thought that he did just as good as what he did in First Class. He didn't really kind of up it.
Yeah,
I thought that
he didn't elevate it much.
I thought that Fassbender actually portrayed more of the emotion. I felt more
Yeah.
for Eric Fassbender's character than I felt for McAvoy's. Really, which the movie was kind of designed to do that. But for
they
me,
really gave Magneto a grounding with the family.
Yeah.
Loss.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they decided to keep Quicksilver secret.
Yeah.
To him, because that'll definitely kind of come up in the again in the future.
Well, and the thing about Magneto's kid and wife that died, they almost made it seem like his kid was Wanda.
I was hoping that they were going to say Wanda.
But it wasn't
I really
Wanda.
was hoping
Her
to say
name,
Wanda.
Her dream was not Wanda.
Yeah,
but she
I know.
had very similar powers to Wanda.
Wanda is Scarlet Witch, which is in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
So playing in the Avengers movies, which
probably...
Wanda and Peter Maximoff played Quicksilver. Those are actually his kids.
Yeah.
Magneto's real children.
So they really could have done Scarlet Witch because she was a mutant, right? They own.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they could have
exactly.
done it, but
exactly.
I don't think they wanted to kill her off. So.
Yeah. So, but I thought that I actually thought that Nicholas Hoult was a little downplayed in this movie, playing Beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have liked to have actually seen a little bit more. It seemed like he was a little bit more war hungry than everybody else.
Yeah.
And there was one line at the end, where Xavier's talking about, I feel pity. It's like when I wake up in the middle of the night, I feel pity for whoever comes to this house looking for a fight. That's not very Xavier-ish.
No, not at all.
Come on, let's face it. The two characters between Magneto and Professor X were based on Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X.
Yep.
You don't really ever hear Martin Luther King Jr. Talking up, saying, we're going to march on Washington, but we're going to bring our gats just in case.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit different of a character.
Yeah, it was a little off character.
But other than that, he worked out.
They just wanted this is the line,
Yeah,
end of the movie just for shock.
It was cool. It's like he fully grasps now the concept of having the X-Men.
Yeah.
Which I get.
And they try to convey that in the story.
Yeah.
That, he wants it to be more of a school at the beginning. At the end, it's okay. Look, if we have to, we'll kick some ass.
Yeah.
We're the X-Men.
It's teaching it all straight up.
And I was gonna say too, during that movie, I really felt like the '90s cartoon.
Yeah, right.
It had a very '90s X-Men animated feel to it.
I agree.
And one thing I missed, or that I wish I could have seen, was Jubilee at least using her powers once.
I read that. I tried to stay off of Facebook or internet or anything like that before I went to go and see the movie, to kind of actually withhold some of the spoilers for me, just because I was like, let's go ahead. But scrolling through Facebook, one of the things that I saw on there is like Jubilee's not in it very much. Which, I guess that's okay. Let's face it.
It is okay.
See fireworks.
Just one time. Just a little fireworks.
You know what?
Nice.
Yeah, just a little like poof.
Yeah.
Would have been cool.
Yeah.
But hey, let's face it. We're gonna have another one because Bryan Singer signed on for another X-Men.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to do another one for it.
And thank goodness he took the reins of this franchise and corrected it, because he really did.
Yeah.
Starting with First Class. First Class was okay. It wasn't the best.
See, for me, I thought that First Class was one of the best.
Really?
X-Men movies.
It's
I
up there.
love what Matthew Vaughn.
I still think 1 and 2 are the best, but
one and 2 are very, very hard. Let's face it. The modern comic book movie, Singer really did start.
Yeah.
Start. It really was. Minus the the X-Men suits, which back in the day, people had a little bit of a problem with, being the black leather, kind of coming off of the Matrix,
Yeah.
style,
Influence. Yeah.
which they even made a comment of. But especially making comments about the movies, this one is full of them.
Yeah.
They're always kind of making fun of the past movies or anything like that. Especially with the X-Men movies, when all the kids walk out of the theater from seeing Return of the Jedi, because this is based in the 80s.
Yes.
They're talking about, the second movie being the best, and the third
is always the worst.
And then you get Sophie Turner playing Jean Grey saying that the third movie is always the worst, which in the X-Men movies, Last Stand is deemed as the worst.
Definitely is the worst.
One which
but not the not bad. It's just not as good as the
personally
others.
For me. I think it actually has one of the best X-Men scenes ever in it when Jean Grey is going Dark Phoenix and just destroying everything as Wolverine's walking up to her and little bits of him are blowing off and regenerating, and that's an amazing scene.
That is,
I mean, that is just so cool, but they got tons of them in it.
And speaking of Phoenix,
right, and I mean, in this movie, Jesus, what did they set up? I mean, they set up everything. They set up Phoenix. They set up Mr. Sinister. At the end, they set up kind of the whole Weapon X storyline, which that's the big
which
one.
It has been said, but this is the new universe.
True.
So
they're kind of going from the beginnings forward now.
Yeah.
But the Hugh Jackman cameo is pretty fantastic. You get to see him up in the full Weapon X garb.
Yeah.
Everything in it. That's cool.
Wearing the Weapon X underwear.
I know, right? Doing that, the belt, the helmet, like pretty much nothing else, just the claws. I thought that was pretty good. But the rest of the world and the internet thinks that that's the coolest.
Yeah.
Two, one thing. I mean, I do think that Singer did great. For me, I think I like this one actually better than Days of Future Past.
Yeah, I think so too.
For me, I thought that it had deeper story to it.
More character development.
Although it seemed like the first half of the movie, it was running a little slow for me, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
Because of Apocalypse. Not really because of any of the other X-Men, because it was kind of just like trying to recruit.
Yeah.
Too much, which, Days of Future Past, they just, hit the ground hard.
Yeah.
Which I like the beginning, of Days of Future Past a little bit better. The first half of the movie. This one, it seemed a little bit slower to me. But when you really got into it, I mean, you got into it.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason the beginning was so slow is they were really trying to introduce those younger characters, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, Scott Summers.
True.
And they were an integral part of the movie. I mean, they're basically the ones that broke Charles free.
Yeah. What did you think of Ty Sheridan playing Cyclops?
Yeah, it was serviceable. If that may be too bad of a word, I don't know. He was good, but he didn't really stand out enough for me to be like Scott Summers.
Throughout that whole movie, man, I wanted to interrupt you and I wanted to talk about it because, I mean... Because,
Alex stands out more than he does in the movie, and Alex is in Havoc, if you guys don't know Havoc from First Class. He stands out more than Scott does, and Scott's supposed to be the big brother. Scott seems like the little brother.
Which they flipped, in the movie, because Alex was the big brother.
Yeah.
In this one. So, but I definitely didn't get that leadership feel from him, which eventually
maybe that'll come.
Does.
He's
true.
True.
But I mean, I didn't even see a spark of it.
No.
Really, they just treated him kind of just like this rude little bitchy kid.
He's a gun, basically.
Really?
He's a gun.
Yeah. He's the one that wanted to break him out of the mansion. He wanted to be the wild child, which I didn't even get, even in the school when he was learning how to use his powers in the regular high school. So, but I mean, hey, maybe that's just, maybe like you were saying, maybe the next movie they'll go ahead and do it.
He'll start gaining that leadership ability.
But I feel that the way that Singer's going with this, which was pretty much started from Vaughn, from the First Class storyline.
Yeah.
I think this is the right way to go. It's smart. It's a very strong way to keep going with the characters, and for me, it's more interesting. I was, minus interesting, because I didn't find Storm interesting at all.
No.
I mean, that was a little bit of a disappointment, but we kind of know a little bit about Storm, from the other movies.
Yeah,
Although, I mean, she's supposed to be this African princess. Now, apparently, she's a Middle Eastern princess.
yeah, yeah.
Or a Middle
Well, at least
Eastern.
they got the thief part right.
You know what she is?
Mhm.
She's freaking Aladdin.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
is. She totally
it
is.
really is what she is. Because they started out being a thief, using her powers
Yeah,
to get food and all this other sort of stuff, living on the streets of essentially Baghdad.
yeah.
And then Apocalypse comes to her. But
Well, they just happen to be in the same
you know,
space at the same time.
yeah, really, But I mean, I love the fact of when Apocalypse woke up for that first time. Um, he's just walking around and he's just seeing this depraved humanity of electronics and pop culture and all this, that just
Yeah,
didn't fit for what it was. Which, what? Okay, so essentially the plot's he wants to cleanse the world, right? He wants to start anew by killing off everybody in it and planting the seed.
yeah,
Okay, he knows that most mutants will probably survive, which they don't even really speak about that. I mean, essentially in his plot, he wants to wipe off the whole world, but how's it going to be created again?
right.
I mean, because it shows that he can't create life in it, so plot hole.
Yeah,
But but to be fair, I kind of see it too. Maybe one of the reasons that I like this movie and I like this character so much is that I kind of agreed with his methods. Maybe not methods, but the whole concept of his idea, what
Yeah.
he wanted to change, because he wanted to make the world in for a better place.
yeah,
I like that, which was a little bit more militant side, which is why we recruited Magneto. But I mean, I kind of didn't really disagree with him too much.
yeah. I mean,
The ideology of it.
yeah.
I should
His
say.
methods are a little harsh, but yeah. His ideas are there.
But I think too on the first real X-Men movie, I think that this was probably the biggest global scale story they've ever done.
Yeah,
Because I mean, really, from a warehouse, Apocalypse essentially almost destroys the whole world.
well, he could have.
Just,
He just
you know,
would have
really
turned
quick.
those missiles.
Yeah, just
back
really
down to
quick.
the earth.
He disarms the entire world.
Yeah,
Just off of that. And I mean, look,
a la Superman 4.
right, right. Well, there was that one scene too where Magneto's going down to the ground in Auschwitz, pulling up the dirt and everything. I'm like, he's gonna fly like Superman,
Yeah.
like Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I was just totally got a straight flash,
Yeah.
from that. I was just like, well, he's taking it from Scott Snyder. But I mean, like all in all, what did you think of the plot?
I thought it was good. I mean, the whole Apocalypse trying to cleanse the world, make it his own. That's what he's going to do. I mean, they didn't mention the whole mutant thing. That his plan is he wants to keep all the mutants. He wants to be the leader of the mutants.
That's right, they didn't.
Any mutants that aren't going to go with him, he's just going to take their powers or whatever. So they didn't go with that too much. That's more of the comic books.
Which that was different because they never really did that in the comics. He never really stole powers. He just was all powerful.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of weird. So did he get like his powers for the mutant transfer from the sun? Because they didn't even really address
they
that
didn't
very much.
explain that at all. It had that big, pyramid on the top, the triangle on the top of the pyramid. The light hits it, and it activates all this stuff. So I don't know, is that alien technology or?
Right, or did he create it? I would have liked maybe a little bit more kind of backstory in the front of the movie, like they did in the post-credit scene for Days of Future Past, where it showed Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Building the pyramid and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe they were thinking of that, but I would have liked maybe throw that in the front of the movie to kind of as a reminder.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, hell, they reminded you from events that happened in X-Men 1.
Yeah.
Like 16 years ago. So why couldn't they have just maybe done that a little bit just as like, hey, refresher? Because, I mean, we're just theorizing here.
Yeah,
if that's really what
idea.
he was intending. But yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. He was like transferring the powers and all that sort of stuff, which it pushed the plot forward. So I don't really have a problem with because
Yeah,
that's how you get him involved with Charles Xavier,
yeah. Well,
which I thought
because
was
Charles's ability is the end all abilities. If he can control all the people in the world, what else does he need after
exactly right.
that?
But real quick, let's talk about his horsemen because those are kind of the big ones out there. Well, we already talked a little bit about Magneto and about Storm, so essentially it's just to talk about two people. What did you think of Archangel?
He looked great. Looked great. That wasn't the same guy that played him in Last Stand, was it?
No, it was not.
I think they should have kept that guy. He did well in Last Stand. I don't see why they wouldn't keep him.
That was Ben. What's his name? He was in 30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
Ben Foster.
Yeah.
Ben Foster that played him in that in the Last Stand.
The
right?
guy that played him in this one, did he even speak any words?
Ben Hardy. Yeah, he talked.
Very
He
little.
talked a little bit. Yeah, the actor's name is Ben Hardy, and they essentially started him out like Wolverine in the first X-Men movie.
True. Yeah.
Cage fight.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because they didn't.
And a drunk. Seemingly.
I dug that though.
Yeah.
I dug that. I dug that character line, and how Nightcrawler just got kind of destroyed his wing, which that made sense to me too because that's one of those things. Angel has regular feather wings, organic, biological, but then when he joins up with Apocalypse and turns into one of his horsemen, he has like metal wings. I was like, how the hell, and really it's like, how do you do that? How does Apocalypse do it? Even though it looks like he can kind of transpose matter, but I love how they actually did it in the movie.
Yeah, it did look pretty
and
good.
holy hell, it looked like it hurt because his ribs were popping out of his back and everything, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that looked like some sort of Viking torture they were doing on him. But goddamn, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Like I said, the look of the Archangel looked awesome, but the guy playing him didn't bring too much to the role.
No, I thought that it was. I would have liked to have seen more for what they were putting out. They were like, look, it's Archangel, get excited for it. He just really didn't kind of deliver.
Yeah, and then that may not be his fault. Maybe they just didn't give him enough screen time to show that. But yeah, it was good, but just looks only.
True. And then let's talk about the one thing that pretty much all geeks are going to talk about: Olivia Munn's bathing suit.
Yeah,
because that's essentially what it was. Olivia Munn played Psylocke.
She looked the part.
You know what? She did a good job. I really thought that she did a good job for being kind of a little bit more minor character. She wasn't really too super involved.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about earlier before we started this up, they left her alive so she can come back, later on. Because obviously, I mean, she's a fan favorite. I love what they did with her energy
blade.
beams. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, everything, and the whips and everything.
Yeah, I don't even know if they've done that in the comics.
Exactly. So maybe essentially they gave her new powers.
Yeah.
But she rocked the sword. She did fantastic with everything, with it. And too, when we were on our way there, I just really appreciate the actress saying, "No, give me the costume of the way that it looks in the comic books," because that's what people are going to want to see. Even though essentially my butt's hanging out the whole time, which we really don't mind. But I mean, let's face it, you're essentially playing a role with thong.
Well, hey, if Mystique's going to go out there, Jennifer Lawrence, and
that's true.
Wear just very little.
I guess that's very true. Yeah, everything's just kind of glued straight on. I know, you kind of forget that because she's blue.
So Olivia Munn was probably like, hey, I don't have to go out there and just paint. So
that's true. That's true. I was really happy too that even with that costume, it really wasn't super revealing. You didn't care about that. You just wanted to see her kick some ass.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of which, her falling off the plane and then using that psychic blade to slice down the building to stop her.
Awesome.
Holy hell, what a killer job.
I was like, how is she going to survive this? And then
I mean, I thought the character, I thought she conveyed the emotion proper to what the character was. I really thought that she actually did a great job. To me, next to Magneto, which is kind of a separate thing, I thought she was the best one that did her job of the Horseman.
Yeah.
Like, truly.
Yeah. Aside from Magneto, definitely. She was the one,
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
And we have to talk about the Quicksilver scene of him
Oh, yeah.
saving everybody from the exploding mansion. Another, part of X-Men history. The mansion has to explode at some point.
I know, right?
You
It
know,
does, which is brought up in Deadpool, which we were talking about in the theater. Be like, there goes the mansion again.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. I'll throw up my little negativity thing. Essentially, it's the exact same thing that they did in Days of Future Past.
I was going to say that too.
It's the exact same thing.
Different song.
But yeah.
Same effect.
But the music was very fitting.
Yes.
For it.
Yes.
But on the positive side for it, it's almost like they made it new.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
They took the exact same scene, which we've all seen before. Everybody's like, "Oh, that was so freaking awesome!" But they did it again in a way that you look at it and go, "That's really awesome." Instead of, "Oh, they're just doing it again."
Yeah.
Because they kicked ass.
Yeah.
With it.
They made it the same but different.
I mean, for God's sakes, the way they introduced it, the flower and the bee stops moving, and then you just see him there.
Yeah,
the car's
at the first
not
second,
moving.
I didn't even know exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
And then, you see Quicksilver and
I had a feeling that he was going to pop in there. Of course, wearing all silver. But I mean, running through the mansion as it's exploding, grabbing people out. I thought they conveyed that quickness better than Days of Future Past.
Oh yeah.
I thought they really did, because I mean, they made him just faster than fire, faster than light almost.
Yeah.
Saving that little girl, grabbing the bucket, scooping up the fish, saving the fish, saving the dog.
Yeah.
He rushes the one girl out, goes back, takes a swing of her tab.
Yeah.
Tab!
Yeah.
They
80s.
really hit the 80s straight up in this movie.
The 80s vibe is felt throughout, yeah.
And then I made that quick little note. We was watching the credits. The little French bulldog eating the pizza in the movie, named Tauntaun.
Mm-hmm. Pizza
How
dog.
awesome was that? Pizza dog. They call it Pizza dog in the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, Quicksilver. I'll be pissed if Evan Peter doesn't come back.
Oh,
for that.
You better.
So.
I think he's becoming a fixture of the team now.
Why am I, dude? I can't believe it. At the very beginning, when I was talking about my 3 favorite characters, Michael Fassbender, Oscar Isaacs, Evan Peters.
Yeah.
My God.
That's the one.
I'm terrible on that one. He was one of the best for it. I mean, had all the humor lines, conveyed it well though, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the beginning of the X-Men and the plane, with Mystique, saying how Mystique changed all their lives. And he's like, "You did mine for the better, even though I still live in my basement of my mom's house and still pretty much a loser."
Yeah.
It's like the way he did that. It was good.
Yeah, it was real.
It was good.
Very real.
So okay, we'll end it out there. Give it a letter grade. What do you think that X-Men Apocalypse got? What does it get from you?
I'd give it a B+.
B plus. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a B. Right. We were pretty much right on the same page with that one. Yeah. I mean, obviously we don't want to compare it to any one of the other Marvel movies out there. You got to look at it. It's its own X-Men universe. Yeah. Don't think about it like you're going in and watching Civil War again, because Civil War is just too damn good. No,
you're not going to measure up to
different. That. I mean, as far as an X-Men goes, you're spot on.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Like
movie.
I said, it felt like watching the animated series most of the time. There's a few places where it felt more like the cinematic universe again, but it really did give me that feeling of being a kid watching the '90s animated series.
You know what? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's for me is the main reason to go.
Yeah.
You get one of the biggest baddies out there. You get some of your favorite X characters. A few little ones thrown in there like Jubilee
in the background.
Which we were talking about. Just like it would have been cool.
Yeah.
To see, because it's that animated series. That's what we grew up with. That's our X-Men.
Yes.
So to have that be conveyed in a movie, good job, Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. So
now we just need Cable and Bishop, right?
Which we'll probably get in an X-Force movie, which they're doing. They are doing an X-Force movie, which they did announce. Fox did announce that they are going to be doing it. Yeah. And after Deadpool, they said it again. We're doing an X-Force movie because that's what you want to see. And damn right I want to see that. Yeah. Cool. So that's our take on X-Men Apocalypse. We're going to be doing some more reviews.
Turtles. probably be next.
Damn right, Turtles. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That one I'm very
Speaking
excited
of
for.
90s animated
Exactly,
shows,
right. I
or
know.
maybe late 80s.
This is
early
the
90s.
video for people, like us,
Yeah.
of our age, the cartoons that we wanted to see.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that. We're going to be looking up some anniversaries of
Yeah.
some big movies coming out. We'll be talking about the big blockbusters, Jaws, E.T., all those things. Probably try to do a little review cast on those.
Ghostbusters.
That's coming.
Yeah.
That's coming this summer.
Yeah.
So pretty much this summer, feel free to give us money because we're going to be broke seeing all these damn movies for you
Yeah,
guys.
definitely.
So, all right. So for now, I guess we'll be signing off. I'm Corbin,
Jacob.
and we'll be reviewing some more shit for you later.